All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on I was going to say tonight's team call, but it's not tonight. We have a super special speaker, so we're going to do whatever time works for him. Keith is kind of like our, I don't know, like second cousin removed upline, something like that. So he is in our upline. He's sponsored by Bob. So that's the same person that Lisa is sponsored by too. But when I first became a coach 7 years ago, he was somebody that I followed and I learned from, and I'm still learning from him today. It's like my third time reading his book. It is freaking gold. So if you guys need something new to read or need your next book to read, definitely get it, Built to Last. So Keith really talks about the principles of building a business that's built to last. He is not somebody in the Beachbody world that you're going to hear on the, see on the boards or flashy. Does that make sense? He builds something that is giving him that freaking freedom we all want. So I'm not doing any announcements today because what Keith is going to share with us today is going to be gold. So we're just going to kind of go right to it. Thanks, Keith, so much for doing this call for us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. And so am I just rolling in, doing whatever I want to do here?
Yeah, you always get like the feel, so just go with it.
Cool. If you guys are willing, I know that some people are on their phones, some people are driving, but if you have the ability, can you just type in the comments and just write what your current rank is and then what your goal is, like what you're pushing for right now for a goal, and that may not be rank, or what you're like, how you identify as a Beachbody coach, where are you at right now, and then how you would like to be identifying maybe. And we can use rank if that works. Carrie, 1 star. Michelle Diamond pushing for 2 star. Emerald. Diamond 2 star. Look at all you guys. You guys are killing it. Brand new coach. Welcome, Chelsea. Success Club 2 pushing for Emerald. All right, Jessica. Kemi, Emerald, Diamond. Love it. 1 star. Diamond. Goal, have a team of badass leaders. I love it, Carrie. Cool.
I don't know how to type on here. I'm brand new, so I'm just a new coach. Barry Lynn.
I love it, Barry Lynn. And not just a new coach. Like, that's the best that's the best spot. You got everything ahead of you. Cool. Rose, would you mind if we recorded this?
Yeah, it's already recording, I believe.
Oh, it is? Okay, cool.
Yep. I'll send it to you.
So I am going to, if you guys are cool with this, so you guys are the first to hear of this. I got crazy busy last week. We launched a new podcast last week called Build to Last. And we launched with 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes I'm just insanely excited about them. It's about the cycle that network marketing as a whole is in right now, and why, like, right now is the opportunity, not just in Beachbody, not just in your team or your business, but network marketing as a whole. So anyways, we just launched that podcast, and what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to use this call as episode like 4 or 5 in the podcast, where in the podcast, I talked about some timely stuff, but then the next episode that I wanted to go through is what I call the build to last sort of structure, or the success path. And so if we sum things up and we look at what my philosophy in this business is building a business intelligently, building it with intent from the start. And the reason I just think that it's a no-brainer. I have friends that have been coaching for 7 years like Rose, and they have hit Success Club every single month for 7 years, but they still only make $100 a week. And then I have other friends who have hit Success Club once or twice, and they've been a coach for 7 years, and they make $10,000 a week. And the difference for that, it's not that hitting Success Club every single month isn't a smart idea. It's what is your intention behind building your business? Are you building it to be an employee for Beachbody? Are you building it to be a coach for Beachbody? Or are you building it because you want to actually create freedom in your life? And when I talk about freedom of time and financial freedom, because the big difference, I got a bunch of friends who have a lot of money, but they're working 60, 70 hours a week, right? But we actually have in this industry, we have the ability to do both. We have the ability to create. And for some of us, I'll tell you guys, when I first started, my goal was to make $250 a week, because that was going to make a major difference in my life. That was going to cover my car payment, cover my car insurance, cover a portion of our mortgage, right? But I was doing it with a very specific goal in mind. I wanted to not just exchange hours for dollars. And what I mean by that is I didn't want to, in the Beachbody world, raise your hand if you know Success Club and you know that's what we're supposed to do. And it's where, like, Success Club's what we're supposed to be focused in on, right? If we hit Success Club every month, our business will grow. That's sort of a general belief, right? And I think that's true, but we have to eventually start growing in our business. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Before I do, I'm going to warn you guys that I am going to pull up an Excel spreadsheet, and it's going to be tons of information. Don't get overwhelmed. I'm going to spend today's call kind of going through, and again, the sheet that we're going to go through is what I call the success path. So if you're looking to build a business that gives you long-term sustainable success, a business that eventually, if you take a month off, your business isn't only going to survive, it's actually going to thrive. It's gonna grow with or without you. And that can be a business that, you're making $500 a week at. It can be a business that you're making $5,000 a week at. The important piece is that you're building it in a way that if something happens, and I know that we're all obsessed with Beachbody and we bleed Beachbody blue, but at some point you're going to get a little burnt out and you're going to need to take a little time off. And, maybe it's time for yourself. Maybe it's time for a vacation. Maybe you just want to chill out for the summer and spend it with your kids. Like whatever it is for you, what my goal is to help people to build a business that gives them the ability to do that. Does that make sense? Before I open this Excel document, I want to just share one other piece. This is going to be the roadmap. This is going to be this is what you need to do. This is the steps that you need to take. Here's where a lot of people get a little bit caught up. The big piece throughout this whole entire thing that I want you to keep in mind is, who do I need to grow into? Who do I need to become? Because that's going to be where I'm gonna outline, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, this is how you get from step 1, how you get from step 2, how you get from step 3, this is the income you're going to earn at each step. We're going to outline stuff like that. And what everybody gets caught up in is okay, do I understand every single step exactly how it's outlined, and how do I do it, and how do I get from this step to that step? That stuff's cool. That stuff's exciting. That stuff, it gives you a way to measure your success, but the way to move through stages is going to be when we grow. When we grow as a human being. Because here's something to write down, and you've probably heard this a million times if you've read my book or you've listened to me on a call. Our business is only going to grow to the level that we grow. So the question in Beachbody terms, if you're looking to go to 2-star, if you're looking to go to 5-star, if you're an emerald and you're looking to go to diamond, here's a really good question to ask yourself is, instead of asking, what do I need to do to hit 2-star, if that's your goal, right? The better question is, who's the woman I have to grow into to hit that rank and hold that rank long term? Do you guys see the difference in that? So there's the what do I need to do? Here's what you need to do. You need to sign up, you get to diamond yourself and then you help 2 other people get to diamond. That's what you need to do, right? The different question is, who do I need to grow into? All right, I'm going to stop rambling. Let me pull up this sheet. Don't get overwhelmed. Host disabled attend. Can you enable attendee screen sharing, Rose?
Yeah, Zoom started messing with all the settings.
I know. If you guys are stock people, Zoom stock has been going through the roof too.
Try now. Any luck?
Not yet.
All right, try now.
All right.
Good.
All right. Oh my gosh, so overwhelming, right? Can you guys see this? Everybody see it? All right. So I am going to end what I can do at the end of this call too. This is the first time I've ever shared this publicly. So I've been working on this in all my spare time. And the reason I put this together was because I've mentored. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm going to go right into it because I know you guys are all already reading this thing. And let me explain this from a high level standpoint. Can you guys see my mouse too, or no? All right, cool. So the build to last success path. So there's 6 steps to this. And the 6 steps or the 6 stages are, you come in and you're an active distributor. Then you get to the point that you become what I call a sales rep. Then you become a recruiter. Then you become a leader of followers. Then a leader developing leaders, and a leader of leaders. All right. So let me just jump down to step number 2. So in the book, Build to Last, the first half of the book was about leading yourself. And the second half of the book was about leading others, right? So in these stages, first signing up as an active distributor, next signing up as or getting to the point of a sales rep, and then getting to the point of someone that I consider a recruiter. Those are all the leadership focuses on leading yourself. And then to get to these higher level stages, the leadership focus is going to be on leading others. Follow me so far? All right. Now I want to just go down and go through each stage. And as I'm going through this, I want you to think about and identify which stage you're currently at, right? So think about your business, think about where you're at, what you're doing, and think about what stage you're currently at. So there's a difference. There's a pre-stage here. There's the signed up distributor, right? And in order to move from being just someone who's signed up to being an active distributor, the active person's showing up every single day. They're doing the work. They're getting on the trainings, going to the events, doing all of the daily activities, right? So you're in Beachbody lingo, you're getting on the national wake up call, you're getting on these team calls, you're posting it on Instagram, you're an active participant in a challenge group. That's sort of the first step that we start to build our business. And during this stage, you can expect to make anywhere on average from no money to like $100 a week, right? So you're kind of inconsistent. You haven't been consistently in Beachbody lingo. You haven't been consistently hitting Success Club. Your income source is going to come from a few sales. And I got to move this around, but it says common impediment to moving to the next stage. So the next stage, we're going to talk about becoming a sales rep, like somebody who's basically in Beachbody lingo hitting Success Club. Here's the biggest impediment to moving on to that stage. It's going to be you have too much focus on learning and not enough focus on actually doing, on being out there posting in social media, following up with people, inviting to challenge groups, inviting to the business opportunity. In this active distributor stage, things you would be thinking, doing, feeling. You'd be posting on social media, going to events, getting on team calls, kind of all the stuff that I shared. The biggest trait is that you're consuming information but not consistently doing. All right. Second stage, again, think about where you're at. The second stage is you mastered stage one. So you've mastered this active distributor stage, but you're also signing up new customers at the achievement level set out by your company. With Beachbody, that is at Success Club. So you're hitting Success Club consistently every single month. Success Club Plus. If you're hitting Success Club every month after month, you're going to be making $100 to $1,000 a week. 100 on the lower end, because what's going to happen is you're going to start having new people coming in every month, and then you're going to have your continuity home direct orders. There's people that are making $1,000 a week that they're just selling. Like that's their whole entire business model. They're constantly signing up new people, bringing new people in. I'm going to switch to this part. So in this stage, you would be thinking and feeling that it's a huge boost to your confidence. You're now able to routinely bring in customers. You feel comfortable sharing the products, services of the company. You're engaged in the community of the team. The most important habit you have and understand is that you have to be taking action. So it's not just about showing up, it's about actually doing. So if you're in this active distributor stage and you're looking to move to this sales rep stage, again, look at the income differences here. This is all about action. It's about, because a lot of times we get caught up in thinking that if we get on the team call, if we get on the national wake up call, if we get to the next training, that we're working on our business, right? When all we're really doing, this is just training. This is sort of extra credit. If you look at it from the typical schooling training, this would be like night school. So all the getting on your team calls, doing your workouts, drinking your Shakeology, getting on the national wake up call, that's all like going to night school. Your job, your day job, the piece that should be consuming most of your time, isn't I want to be really deliberate here. It's intentionally finding people, talking to people, and inviting people. It's not spending time on social media, on Instagram with your thumb going up and down for every single time you have a down second that you're jumping on social media. It's not sitting on your couch at the end of the day for 2 hours and scrolling up and down. Does that make sense? Super important there. So moving from this active distributor to this sales rep, it's all about you actually taking action on a daily basis. So if you're here, you're getting good at sales, you're getting good at inviting other people to your groups, and now you want to move into this recruiter stage. So the recruiter stage, you've mastered stage 1, and you've mastered stage 2, this sales rep stage. Now, in addition, you're also signing up new distributors. Check this out, though. There's not that much difference in income, right? So your income's not going to change. And here's where people get caught up and they stop. We focus in on just bringing in customers or just bringing in discount coaches. And then we really stay in that stage because the income doesn't change here that much. The income doesn't change. Most of the sales are going to be to customers and recruiting distributors. So you're bringing in people. You're bringing in people who want to do the program, who want to consume the products, but you're also now converting some of those people to people that want to be working coaches, or you're bringing in working coaches. This part right here isn't just discount coaches. So over here in the sales rep part, this is sales to customers and discount coaches. This, when we move over here, is people who actually want to work the business. This is a very hard step that most people never make, going from sales rep to recruiter. Right here, so the reason people don't make this step is the content you're putting on social media and the story you're telling is always about the products and the programs, and it's not about the business opportunity. So if you're in this phase and you haven't moved to this phase, this is and shake your head if it's you, this is exactly why you're stuck. And it's not necessarily, and here's where people get stuck. They say, okay, so tell me how many times a week I should be posting about the business opportunity, right? Tell me how many times I should be inviting. How many times should I be following up with the people that are currently challengers and I can get them into the business? It's not about that piece. It's about changing the intent. It's not about the number of times you can post or this or that. It's about changing the intent. Because if you want to get to these later stages here, everything you should be doing is building a business that's built to last, right? So right up here, building a business that's built to last. And the only way to do that is to find and develop other leaders. But before we can do that, we have to be leading ourselves. So in this recruiter phase, our intent, our focus, when we wake up in the morning and when we're doing our business, when we're going through the day, is we're looking for other people who want to do this business. And we're still running challenge groups. We're still having customers come in. We're still working with our challengers, but our intent is to bring in 5 challengers, because we know if 5 challengers come in and we give them a good experience, one of them's going to become a working coach, right? Does that make sense? So what I want to just highlight in these first 3 sections is you don't need to change anything that you're doing except for the intent behind why you're doing it. Because if your intention is to ultimately bring in other people, and that's true north, right? That's the guiding thing, that when you sit down and you say, okay, does this action get me closer to my goal? What's my goal? And here's where, if you're in one of these two phases, what I want you to do is, I want your goal not to be to hit Success Club anymore. Let me rephrase that. Don't stop hitting Success Club, but that's not your goal. That's a way to get to your goal. Your goal should be that you want leaders on your team. And the first step is you want working coaches on your team, right? Just hitting Success Club isn't going to get you working coaches on your team. Having the intention of ultimately getting working coaches, that's going to get you closer. Are you guys following me so far, or am I losing everybody? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. In this stage, so we're in the recruiter stage, this feels like you're thinking, I can actually do this. You're very optimistic that everyone you bring in is going to take action to do the business. But at the same time, reality's starting to set in, because a very small percentage of the people that actually say they're going to do something, right? How many people have felt that? How many people have felt like you bring someone in, you sponsor someone, and you call Rose and you're like, Rose, this one's going to kill it. Like, watch out for this one. And then she never does, not even does she not do anything. Like, she stops answering your text messages and stops taking your phone calls, right? So that's how you know you're in this recruiter phase. So the majority of people on this call, you're going to fall into one of these three phases. So if you haven't gotten an active distributor yet, that's showing up. That's showing up every single day. Sales rep is taking action, like not doing the night school, but doing the work, right? That's that sales rep phase. Moving into the recruiter phase is when your intention and everything behind what you're doing it's with that intention to be finding other working coaches that you can eventually help them become a leader. All the training you're going to get from Beachbody, all the training you're going to get from most network marketing trainers, all the training from all the books you're going to get out there, really does a good job focusing on these first three. When you go to other network marketing trainers, section 4, leader of followers, what this is all about is duplication on your team. So think of leader of followers as you've got a lot of people doing a little bit. So in this leader of followers stage, you've mastered all three of these stages, plus you have a lot of distributors, a lot of coaches in your downline who are in stages 1, 2, and 3. Moving from stage 1 to 2 is fast. Moving from stage 2 to 3 is fast. Moving from 3 to 4, this is going to take time. So this isn't something that happens overnight. This isn't something that, you sign up as a Beachbody coach and 2 weeks later, you're consistently making $500 to $2,500 a week. And the reason for that is right here, because now half of the effort is you and half of the effort is your team. Think about that. Like, how cool is that? Once you get to this paycheck, once you get to this spot, if you take time off, your business is still going to grow a little bit. If you take time off, you're still going to get a paycheck. I keep skipping over this part, but I'm coming back to it. So, leader of followers, in this stage, you would be thinking, I have this thing on lockdown and I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. It's exhausting though. I can't take one day off, or this was internal. This word was supposed to come out. Can't take one day off or it's all going to go to shit. I'm a leader with a lot of followers. I'm losing my passion for this. I'm getting burnt out. This is harder than I thought, but I'm awesome at the same time. Here's the deal. Nobody can stay in this phase. You get burnt out. You get burnt out because it's constant. You're constantly motivating. You're constantly trying to get your people to step up. This is where you see somebody that'll jump from one network marketing company to another, thinking that the grass is greener with the other one, because it gets hard. This is a very hard stage. Stage 1, 2, and 3, everybody on this call can easily get there. Stage 4, it's hard. Like, this is hard work. It's once you get here, though, it's such a small step going from leader of followers to a leader of developing leaders. So, leader of developing leaders, so you've mastered this stage. Plus, you're mentoring your leaders one-on-one. I know a coach on this team who's here. The majority of your efforts are becoming a leader of leaders and having a team of teams. So when you're in this stage, like, your mindset is, I don't want to be a leader of leaders because I've done this long enough and I know that I'm going to get burnt out. I know that I can only do this for so long. And you realize the magnitude of developing other leaders. You realize, wow, if I bring somebody in and I spend a lot of time with them, and I mean like 6 months to a year, where we're working one-on-one every single day, we're text messaging, we're doing phone calls, but eventually, if he or she was running their own team and growing their own team, you understand that payoff. So your goal starts to be, I want to become a leader of leaders. I want to have a team of teams. In this stage, you can expect to make between $1,000 to $5,000 a week. 25% of your efforts are going to come from you, and 75% is going to come from your team. You'd be thinking and feeling, I'm in the process of building my business so it lasts. I understand that it's not about me. It's all about developing real leaders on my team. All my efforts are focused on developing other leaders. And then this final stage is leader of leaders. So you've mastered these first 5 stages. Stage 5 mastery, plus you have 5+ other leaders who are developing leaders. So you've got 5 people on your team that, they've got big teams of their own. Easiest way to look at it. When you're in this stage, when you have financial freedom and time freedom, you can, here's another key indicator in this stage. If you take time off, you could take a year off and your business is probably going to be bigger than it was when you left. You could literally go away for a year and your paycheck is going to go up while you're gone. That's what you would be making during this time. 95% of your efforts come from your team. I missed a piece here. So in order to get to this, here's what happens is we give up. We self-sabotage, exhaustion. So getting from being a leader, developing leaders, to actually having those leaders is giving up. It's not embracing personal growth and not growing through your fears and insecurities and doubts and all of that stuff. Like, that's the impediment from going from here to here. When you're here, you'd be thinking, feeling, you literally have the ability to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. Your business serves your life and it's fulfilling. This is light years different than being a leader of followers. So I put this little sheet together, and this is super rough, you guys. This is the first time I've presented it, but this is a roadmap. This is, where are you? Which stage are you in? And then what's the common impediment to getting to the next stage? So just to repeat this, hopefully everybody's as an active distributor already. If you're not, just start showing up. That's all you need to do. But getting here, it's about taking action. It's not just about showing up. It's about doing the work. It's about doing the work before you do the fun night school stuff. Getting here is about changing your focus from just hitting Success Club and just bringing in coaches and discount, or customers and discount coaches, to actually bringing in real working coaches. It's a much different focus. If I was to pinpoint on the, we've got 43 people on this call, I would say 35 people haven't moved from here to here. And the reason is simply your intention and your focus. Your intention is just about hitting Success Club and signing people up. And again, that's not wrong. You can stay there. You can stay there. You can enjoy it. I have hundreds, if not thousands, of coaches that they're here and they don't have a desire to move to here. If you want to get to the next step, though, it's just all it is a difference in focus and a difference in intention. Your intention now becomes to find working coaches. Going from here to here can take 6 months because you're going to change how you're posting, you're going to change how you're talking, you're going to change what your intention is, you're going to change what your focus is. 6 months to see the results. And then moving from here, now you're bringing in people that want to do the business. This is just time to go from recruiter of leader to followers. This is a hard step. Learning this step, moving from here to here is just doing it over and over again. Right? And it's learning how to mentor the people that you're bringing in. Moving from here to here is about, okay, I've grown. Because in order to get here, so remember these first 3 steps, this is about you leading yourself. You've had to grow as a person. You've had to change the way you talk to yourself, change the way you think, change the way you act when adversity comes up. You've had to work through fears, work through insecurities, work through self-doubts, shames, guilt, all that stuff. Because remember, this little map here, right? This is 5% of it. The 95% is you're growing along the way. So this whole first section here is you growing. Now, in order to move from 3 to 4, it's about starting to inspire and mentor and teach others what you've grown through. And so on and so forth. I want to pause there. Actually, I want to share one more thing, and then I want to pause because there's probably a million questions, and I can pull that sheet back up if you guys need it. I can also send it over to Rose. Like I said, it's crazy rough format right now. We're going to have something within a week or two that's a little tighter. We all want to know the path to achieve success in this business. And you've heard the corny cliches like there's no easy way to the top and stuff like that. In network marketing, your business won't grow if you're not willing to grow. So you can get on all the calls, you can learn all the tricks and tips and etc. for how to post on Instagram, and I don't even know what it is now. Or it's not even Snap, on TikTok, like whatever it is that is the new hot thing. But the reality is if you want to build long-term success, you have to grow. Because moving forward in each of those stages, so here's where everybody wants to know that tell me what to do. And the reason I laid out that visual is because where I want you to look at, so now you know, okay, this is the next thing I have to do to move to the next stage, right? Here's the deeper question that you need to ask yourself. What's the personal growth piece that's holding you back from moving to the next stage? Is it that, and it's just millions of different things, because here's the question that we often get. I'm a diamond coach. what do I need to do to get to 2-star diamond? Okay, well, you know how to get to diamond, right? You got yourself there. Help 2 other people do that, right? But that's not the real question, and that's not the real piece. The real piece may be for this man or woman that I'm diamond and I want to get to 2-star diamond. Okay, help 2 other people get there. But I don't see myself as a leader. I don't see myself as a business owner. I don't see myself as somebody else would want to follow. I don't see myself as having the ability to coach other people. I can coach them in the programs, but I can't really coach them in the business because I don't know what I'm doing myself. Make sense? Because until we work through that mental obstacle, we can't see success with the rank or with the recognition or with the income or whatever it is. So as you're looking at the different phases and you're saying, okay, I'm here, I want to move to here. What's the personal growth piece? Because that's what this business is all about. When we started this call, started by saying your income is going to grow to the point that you grow. And we all come in with a certain level. You know, for some of us, we can get to, we have so much pollen here right now. And my throat's so dry. I may have to get a glass of water. I'm going to go do that. I'll be right back. All right, hold on.
Hey, if you're on, I would love to see, where do you feel like you are within the model that Keith shared? I know he doesn't have this screen up, but if you can kind of remember, are you in 1, 2, 3? I think there was 6, right? Where do you feel like you fall in with his stages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? I would say, like, I'm on the cusp, like right there between a 5 and a 6. We got some 2s, we got some 4s, 1 and 2s. I asked Keith, where do they feel like they are within the scale?
Such a good question. I didn't even think of that. I don't even remember what I was talking about, so I'll stop and open it up for questions. It's so, look at Ashley, 3 and 4. I love that everybody's 1 working on 2. I like that everybody's at least a 1. 4 and 5 for Michelle. Stage 2, stage 2. 3. I love it, Wendy. Gotcha. Yeah, and the income pieces, Lisa, are just totally like rough. That's like generic throughout network marketing as a whole. Questions? Feel free to unmute yourself. And I also realize while you're thinking of questions, I can't use this as a podcast because it's a generic network marketing podcast, and all I wound up talking about was Beachbody. So,
well, our group that we have for Built to Last, we were on week 6, and you said Beachbody, and you're like, fuck.
Oh, that video made it in?
It did, yeah, it did. It has a, sorry, I should have probably told you. That made it in. Sorry, week 6.
So is that the only?
And I think you had some congestion in the beginning too.
Holy
so there's
cow.
like a pause.
In just that week or the whole? I'm going to have them go through all the videos.
Yeah, some of my girls, if you guys are on, do you guys remember anything from like the other videos? I think most of them were pretty good. It was just week 6 that was.
I'm going to have them go through all of them.
I was like, it's okay. Keith's the millionaire. He could say fuck and whatever. It's all good.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, Lisa
I know exactly what you meant. Because so that was supposed to be like an internal thing, and then I paused for a second after, so the editor knows to edit it out.
Yep.
All right. Well, apparently they missed that piece.
It's all good. We all.
I apologize in advance for that. Sorry, guys. Or not in advance, I guess. It's late.
Yeah. So, Ashley, you can, I unmuted you guys. So if you guys have a question for Keith, we can start off with Ashley. You can unmute yourself, Ash.
Oh, I was just going to say about the video, but I do have a question. I actually, in module 6, you talk about you do an application process. What was it? A follow-up email, an interview, and a welcome email, right? So you go through like a huge process. So I'm looking to like kind of change that. I really enjoyed that process.
Yeah.
So when you're kind of, I guess, training your leaders,
Yeah.
is there something specific you do to really get them from just a learning phase to a leadership phase? Like, especially kind of like we have a lot of new coaches.
Yeah.
Is there something specific that you do with them to get them? Because it could be a lot to be working on yourself and then bringing this in and becoming a leader and trying to build a business at the same time. So is there something that you do to get them to that point quickly, or do you take like time with them?
I think it really depends on the person and when they're ready.
Okay.
Because you can
Personally,
drag somebody along kicking and screaming and it's miserable.
Yeah.
Or here's the thing that I'm looking to do with everybody. I'm looking for them to be inspired or desperate. For me, it was both. I was desperate when I started and I was inspired. Because when you have somebody that's like that, you're going to have trouble keeping up with them. And so if I have somebody that, she signed up as a new coach and I see potential in her, I'm going to continue to paint that vision, not as her life is, but as it could be. And for some people, there's two people that are popping to mind. So one of my coaches that I worked with, Liz Hartke, she wanted out of her day job bad when she first got started, and she was ready to run right away. And she like rose through ranks consistently. Haley Christian got to diamond and got content, and she stayed there for 3.5 years. And then she realized she was going to have to, a few things happened financially with their family, and she was going to have to go back to bartending. And in that, like once that happened, she was desperate and inspired at the same time. That's when her business literally went from diamond to like, I don't even remember, a 6 or 7 star in 5 months. So she was diamond for 3.5 years, then went to like 6 or 7 star in 5 months, because that motivation was there. If there's, so I don't know if that answered the question.
It does. It actually goes back to a lot of trainings that I've heard. And the one thing you said was painting the picture.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge piece to, well, what do you want out of this? I like in the book also I talk a lot on how do we bridge that gap? Okay, you have your goals. How do we bridge that gap to get to your goals? And like painting the picture, I think that's a huge piece to it. So that definitely helps explain it. So thank you.
And then here's another cool thing that I heard from John Maxwell, and I'm going to totally botch it, but this is how I interpret it. He used to be a pastor, or whatever the right word is, at a church. And he said that, there was different people with different levels of influence and different levels of energy that they brought to the church. And there was some people who would give a ton, right? Both financially, they would give of their time, they would give of their talents, they would give of their service. And when John spoke with them, they inspired him to be a better person, right? And then there were other people that they were just kind of those whiny people, right? They kind of sucked energy instead of gave energy, right? We all know those type of people. And he said one day one of these whiny people came to him and was saying that it's not fair. You give so and so all your one-on-one time, and I keep trying to get time from you, but you won't give it to me. And he said in his mind, he was saying, well, life isn't fair. You know, when you're in a basketball game and you have Michael Jordan on your team, the other guys on the team don't say, and you know, the game's on the line, who's going to get the ball? Michael Jordan's going to get the ball, right? And the other guys don't get to whine and complain, you know, it's my turn to get the ball. And he said that I felt like saying to this person, well, the reason that you don't get my time is because you're whiny and annoying and you suck the life out of me. When we're, as our teams, so in the beginning, when we're growing our teams, we're going to work with everybody, right? If you've got 3 or 4 people on your team, you're going to work with all 3 or 4 people. But as your team starts getting bigger, you want to start being more selective with how you're spending your time. And the easiest way to look at that is, are you inspired when you talk to that person? And you want to get to the point that you only do one-on-one calls with people that you're excited to do them with. And another thing to add to that, I also think a big step for us as mentors and leaders is when we can honestly say to someone that, you know, we've been doing these calls for a couple weeks now in a row, and we haven't really moved past what we were stuck on, and we're talking about the same thing over and over. Here's what you need to do, and I'm going to put it on your plate. I'm going to pause these calls until you actually work on this and grow through it. And what that's going to do is it's going to either push them away, and they're going to say, you know what, F you. It's going to help them to realize, oh crap, like Ashley's not going to stick around. Ashley's not, you know, it's going to help them to see you as a leader, as someone that they can, that's going to hold them accountable. And then the third thing is, so some people get pushed away and they actually quit. They leave and quit. But they were going to leave and quit anyways, eventually. But some people will go away and they'll get all puffed out for a week or 2 weeks. And then they'll actually come back and say, I needed you to say that to me, and I needed to hear that. And I'm ready to actually do the work and to grow now. I still can't believe that F word bomb is in that video.
Thank you so much for that.
Anybody else have any other questions for Keith? So Christina has a very common question that most new coaches ask. I'm a new coach. How do you train your new coaches when you are a new coach? I feel this is why it takes me so much time to grow. I want to dive in. Is that something I should do, or focus on something else first?
I think that, so Christina, when I first got started, here was my business model. I was so I had already done the product. I had already been doing P90X for a year or two, and I got to understand this business model, and I was so excited about it that I reached out to anyone and everyone that I remotely knew, which for most of us is probably at least 1,000 people. You don't realize it, but I would be on Facebook and be like, I think I had a beer with this guy one time in college. He kind of looks familiar. And I would reach back out to him. And my mode of doing that was, I just got started with this thing, Beachbody. People didn't know what Beachbody was then. So I'd say, you know, the P90X company, and they've got this business model, and I don't even know what it's all about, but I'm super excited about it. And do me a favor, would you be willing to just check out this quick video? And that was it. That's all I did. And then I would send them a little like 2-minute video. And then if they were interested, and then I would follow up with, what did you like best about it? That's it. Everybody can do that, right? So you don't need to know how to sponsor someone else or mentor someone else. Write this down, Christina. This is for everybody. This is really important. We're in a do and then learn business. So it's very different than I want to become a doctor and I have to do 4 years of undergrad, then 4 years of medical school, then my residency, all of that. So just go out there and it all that people are here's the deal. Beachbody provides all the tools and your team provides all the tools. What you need to provide is excitement and enthusiasm in the beginning, because when you're excited about something, someone will be like, I don't know, she's kind of crazy, she's like all excited about this Beachbody thing, but yeah, I'll give it a shot, I'll check it out. Because you're not looking for someone to sign up, you're just looking for them to check something out, just take a look at it. So yeah, going out and talking and messing up and saying the wrong things and being nervous about it. And that's Jeff Hill, who used to work for Beachbody, had a great saying that sums it all up. It's the start that stops most people. It's just going out and talking to people that stops 95% of the people from ever getting their business started.
And kind of piggybacking, it might have been in your book, Keith, but I don't know. I forget all the stuff I'm reading, but be a pointer. Like, we have a million gazillion coach webinars we do on every single week that you can point somebody to, right? So we have all the tools. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to point people to things.
Yeah. And taking that wasn't my stuff, but I love it. And taking what Rose said one step further, when you're the know-it-all, other people that you're inviting can't see themselves doing it. But when you're a pointer, they're like, oh, so all she really did was reach out to me, tell me what she's doing, and then point me to this, whatever. Right. And they can see themselves doing that.
That's a good point. Let's see. So is the fine tuning basically trial by fire? I don't know if that meant trial by error. You modeling behaviors and hoping people can find their own benefits.
Rose, what that meant was when you're starting and it's the do then learn behavior, and like, are you fine tuning those behaviors as you go? Like, as us new coaches who are trying to figure out how to show people that this is like a potential business and all those kinds of things, and getting people in and welcoming them. Is it you're doing what you feel is right and hoping that your behaviors are showing other people what they can have as well, kind of like you can have this too type of thing, and as they grow and they find their own niche per se? That's more so what I meant. Because we are going to fail in some things, but as you go, it's going to grow.
Yeah. Can you give an example, like where you're currently at, Jessica?
So I just made Emerald, and I have people that I can see the potential for them to make this a business. And I have welcomed them as a discount coach so that they feel like, that there is potential for them, but just letting them get comfortable in their own skin so that they could then grow.
Yeah.
But then for me to then evolve, like I'm making, this all started in like the last month for me.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning a lot.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that as I'm learning and as I'm like, I hated getting up at before 7. Now I'm up at 5:30 every day doing my workout because that's my me time now. My son has evaded my me time, but that's still working for me. So as things like happen that could become a failure, like I'm making those things still work to show that like you kind of can do it too.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're talking to people, you're not sure if you're connecting with them in the same way. So sometimes somebody could be like, well, I don't really relate to that.
Yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
check this out, Jessica. Each one of us has different things that hold us back, and each one of us has certain we have certain personalities, and you can be like, F you, Keith. I want to share something that I think will help. I think that just listening, you might be someone who might overanalyze things and like really think about, well, what if this, what if this, what if this? And I would say in your situation, just hitting Emerald, just do what you just did 10 more times. Just keep signing up another person, because it's the reality is that 1 out of every 10 people is going to do what. So 1 out of every 10 people is going to sign up, and then out of 10 people that sign up, 1 out of 10 of them is going to do something. And even though we think that all these people have potential, they're just not going to do anything. Like that's just reality of our business, and it's how the numbers work, and you can't change it. So what you can change though is just keep doing what you did to get to Emerald, because then now you're going to have 4 coaches. Now you're going to have 6 coaches, and wow, I got one of these coaches signed up. Now I'm closer to Diamond. So in where you're at, I would just keep doing, and don't worry about instead of worrying about where my mindset was this is the opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do whatever the hell it takes. And once I had that mindset, I was also when I went out to talk to people, it wasn't about trying to convince somebody because I needed them. It was, I'm going to the top with or without you. Listen, this is the deal. This is what we have going on. If you want to come, great. If you don't want to come, I don't care. I care because I like you as a friend, but I'm going to build this no matter what. And I think like having that mindset, it's kind of like, you ever had a guy that you were interested in and he knew you were interested in him, and he kind of ignored you? But the second you were like, you know what, I'm moving on from this guy, and the second that you did that, now all of a sudden he's interested in you, right? That's what it is. Like when you know without a doubt where you're going, and you're just like, you're taking action and you're going there, that's when things really start to pick up. Long answer, sorry.
No, that was great. Amber had a question. Do you recommend to just invite only to the business and not as a customer? So only inviting to the business opportunity and not inviting people as challengers.
I actually don't. I think that however you do it. So my path, I was a customer first, 2 years as a customer. I think that you can invite to shake all. Yeah, all of my right now, I personally invite just to the business, but my target market is people who have already had an experience with the products and with the programs, because I think that that's the glue to this is not an easy business. And once you go through, all of us have gone through and we've had an experience with a Beachbody program, right? And that's why we're so passionate about this, because you felt better. It made a difference in your life. So if you're targeting someone just for the business, I would say that, yeah, the only way I've targeted people just for the business is somebody who wants to get in shape, and instead of just joining a challenge group and being a challenger, like, so Nicole Jones was a good example. She wanted to get in shape, so she started P90X and decided to get 4 other women to do it with her. So that's how she signed up. She signed up and then signed up for other people. So I'm not answering the question direct. I haven't really answered the question directly. No, I don't recommend just signing people up directly for the business opportunity unless they've already had an experience with the company. Does that make sense?
Keith, I haven't, so you just said something about she signed up 4 people, but how often do we, and I'm just speaking out, like how often do I don't, hey, do you think you have people like friends that would want to join you? You know, it's not, for some reason, it just like doesn't roll off the tongue.
I think that
something so simple as that.
So check this out. When our intent is to build a business of other people that are working, so that's why I want everybody's intention to shift on the call. Because when your intention shifts, you're like, okay, so I'm signing up this person. What's my ultimate goal? My ultimate goal is to find people who want to work. Why wouldn't I ask them right away? So yeah, I think that it's a very easy, because the reality is that as a coach, all you really are is someone that's loving and like as a coach to challengers, you don't need to know anything besides, okay, so I follow this guide and I love and support people. That's it, right? Like anybody can do that. They don't need any experience or anything like that. So yeah, I think it's a great observation, Ashley, that you had.
Do you have time, Keith, for 2 more questions?
Yeah, I'm blocked out till 12:30 Eastern time. So
All right, sweet. So Jessica asked, how would you help advise or mentor or support your upcoming leaders to go from leaders of followers to getting leaders developing leaders? So how do you help your coaches go from that recruiting or from leaders of followers to leaders developing leaders? Yeah, so like the recruiting part 2 next.
yeah. So I think the biggest thing is intent. And usually when we're stuck in that leaders of followers, we're chasing recognition, which I think is super important. But so Brett Blake, a really, really smart dude who worked for Beachbody for a period of time, he had said at one point, your goals are going to be different than Beachbody's goals. And when we get caught up in that leaders of followers, we're chasing the carrot all the time. We're chasing Success Club. And again, not that Success Club is wrong, but that's the goal. So it's just a change in intention. And we always want to know step by step, but the deal is that when you change your intention, and I mean really change it, right? The how is going to show itself. So think about where we're at in the world right now. I'll be completely honest that I fell into the category of I have tons of Black friends and I'm not prejudiced and I treat these men and women the same. But until the last week, I didn't understand what was really like the amount of, I knew that there was pockets of stuff, but I didn't understand like how, like the amount of, like you can have Barack Obama's family has to talk to his children and warn them of certain things. Like if you get pulled over by a cop, you know, like they have to be warned of certain things. Like I was oblivious to that. So now it's like, okay, how do we help in this situation? And I think the first thing is we have to change our intention to like really start listening and really start paying attention to what's going on and not trying to give advice and not trying to, so what I don't have answers for how I can help, except for I need to change my intention from one of how I act morally to an intention of trying to seek to really understand what's going on and really understand like how people are suffering and really understand the undertones of things. Because as a white person, I have the privilege of not having, yeah. So when we're looking at how do we help people to move from one stage to the other, if we change our intention, it's not going to change overnight, but all the hows are going to start showing up. Because if our intention is to now become a leader of leaders, and with that intention, we know that the only way to do it is to get other people to do stuff. And we're going to then take a deeper step and say my actions need to support my intention. So when I'm going out here and building a business, I'm caught up in the rat race of just trying to hit Success Club again every single month. Like, this isn't me trying to hit that. So I know it's oversimplified, but it's like a therapist saying, here, do this instead of that, as opposed to a therapist getting somebody, like bringing something out of somebody and having somebody come to the conclusion on their own. So in order to get your people to the next step is to make them aware of the next step, and then to start focusing in on what are the internal pieces, because it's different for everybody. Just like everybody's experience, just like with COVID-19, everybody's experience has been different. Some people have thrived through this. Some people have lost people, right? So when we're trying to grow somebody, this isn't a step 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't work with this stuff, because it's not everybody's got their next, like, you want to heal your life, you want to do that, 4 steps to cure anxiety. That's not the real world, though, because everybody's situation is different. So it's really, okay, you want to move from step A to step B. Here's what we need to do. What's going on inside that's going to block you from getting there? Does that make sense?
I don't know, just if you can speak or not. I just can't see everyone.
I might have a minute. I'm hoping my kids don't go crazy. Yes, I love I was just going to write, I love the analogy of like the therapist is not going to tell you like, this is what you do. It's more so about you recognizing that within yourself of how to, I guess, change and evolve in order to get to where you want to be. So that was really helpful, because I have some amazing leaders who are on this call and who needed to hear this. And so it's just also helping them to see that potential in themselves. I think that was really helpful, that they needed to hear that too. So
Love it.
sorry, I have a concert going on too.
Do I? Barry Lynn, I think, had a really great question for a lot of new coaches. She sees right now that everyone is trying to sell something online. How do we make ourselves stand out? She says, every one of my friends is posting videos, posting their workouts, posting their Arbonne, et cetera, et cetera. So how do you stand out in, I guess, a social media place where everyone is trying to sell something?
Again, I like to think of it in the simplest way. In social media, I think the easiest way to stand out is before you put content out there. So I'm really bad on social media. My comfortable mode are written. Like when I wrote the book, I was comfortable with that, or doing a podcast, I'm comfortable with that. And the one question, so I have 2 things that I focus on. The first thing is my target audience. And then the second thing is, if I'm writing something or putting a podcast together, I ask myself, will my audience share this with their teams? And I think that that's the best advice for, if you're providing value, people are going to share it. So we don't want to be sell. But if we're providing real value, and things going on in the world, like how can I have an impact, the answer is going to be different as things change. But if you're looking to have an impact, how's the best way to have an impact? To provide value and provide content that gets shared, right? And I'm also the worst on social media, so there's probably a better person to answer that than me.
All right, I hopped off. My internet connection got bad. I don't know if there was any more questions. We have like, we'll say like one more question. So if anyone's out there, if not, going once, going twice. All right, Keith, as always, it's freaking awesome. Love how you just put a different perspective, make us look at it differently. And I think that's what your book does, is just make us look at our business, sorry, at a different,
I love it.
in a different way. And not just about points and rank, but looking at the intent, right? Oh, so dark. And how we can grow from that. So it's been super helpful for me, even at the stage that I'm at. You always need to be reinventing and evaluating yourself and where you are in this business, no matter if you're a brand new coach, Emerald, been in this for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, you always need to be reevaluating. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I'll have the recording up, and Keith, I'll send it on over to you. If you can send us that Excel sheet, that would be awesome.
I will. Thanks so much, Rose. Thank you,
Hey,
guys.
guys.
Have a great day.
one.